Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Sanderlanche podcast. This week, we're talking about Oathbringer chapters 100 through 103, wherein Dalinar is in Vednar and he freaks out. He freaks out big time. Can't blame the guy. Then we switch over to Kaladin and Co., and they're about to arrive in Celebrant, however you say that. And then we get to Celebrant, and some cool stuff happens, some interesting kind of friend city stuff, and then we leave, which is kind of a bummer, because, fused. What are you going to do? And then we go back to Dalinar, who's having a vision or a dream or something, and hopefully things are looking up for him. Anyway, I'm Joe, and with me this week is...
Jack?
Data.
Jamie.
That's right, we're all back together again. Hold on to something, everyone. The Sanderlanche is about to begin.
Yearnings intertwined, the golden age in ashes once again. Under stirring stars, in the burning shards, kindle fragments of a falling rain. So look to the break of dawn, to the break of dawn. Stronger together.
So yeah, we did 4 chapters again this week, and some interesting stuff. I feel like there's we didn't get much of the details on kind of spren politics in the cognitive realm, like I think you guys were hoping, because apparently there's some bigger issues happening in the cognitive realm, which we kind of encountered. But anyway, what did you guys think of these 4 chapters?
The stuff in Celebrant was really interesting. Like Joe said, it was over too soon. I'm like, oh, we're already going. Damn, I would like to see more. It wasn't quite as different from stuff from the regular world as I expected, but there was enough there. I'm just like, oh, there's some weird shit going on here. Like the whole thing with Kaladin and the painting that he was staring at was interesting. Yeah, like there was enough there that I'm just like, oh, I want to see more. And then it's like, and we're going. Oh, okay. But I guess, it sort of tracks. Like the fused a combination of spren and person. So okay, yeah, they're here. They're looking like they're trying to keep the people out. There's been mention like things are not right in the cognitive realm, so it tracks that the fuse would be here too. But yeah, that was all really interesting. Dalinar stuff is just depressing. Like, okay, he's freaking out. He's getting drunk again. Cool. All right, we're back to this. Like the vision of Noadon was interesting. I don't quite know what any of it means, but on the whole, like the Dalinar ones just sort of leave me cold. Like I know it's part of character arcs and progressions and stuff like that, but for so long Dalinar has been the reliable one in these books. Just like, we know we can count on him to do the right thing, and now that he's freaking out, it's kind of just like, oh man, we're losing the big good.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about it quite that way, but you're right that Dalinar has always been kind of like the rock, the solid person through whatever else is going on. Even when he's not sure of himself, he's like trying to take action. And now it's kind of discouraging. You're right.
Yeah, I guess this is the whole thing. It's like you need to look after your own mental health. You can't hold other things together if you can't hold yourself together.
Yeah, and he's having some trouble holding himself together. Yeah.
He's in a bleak place. Like I understand why he's in a bleak place. I get it. Story-wise, it makes perfect sense. That doesn't make it any less depressing.
Yeah, apparently he's what's the word? Reverting a little bit.
Regressing.
Regressing. That's the word. Thank you.
Yep.
That I was looking for. Into the person that we never saw all that much of, except now we've had a flashback or two of it. And it is not the best place for Dalinar.
No. But there were some interesting notes. It's like he even said like the conversation with the Night Watcher hasn't come back. Why not that one? I'm like, okay, there's something else at work here. However, these memories are coming back. It's being done willfully, and whoever's doing it is deliberately hanging on to that last card until the right moment. So make of that what you will.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in my mind it was just they've been coming back gradually this whole book, and he's gotten them a little time. So I was just like, oh, I guess that's just we hadn't got to that part yet. But maybe you're right. Maybe there's something more to it.
Well, we assumed that the Night Watcher cultivation took him away. Maybe Night Watcher's giving back for a specific purpose. I don't know.
Could be.
I don't know. We'll save all this for predicaments.
Yeah, these chapters were good. I agree with Dak. Like the the Dalinar stuff is a little depressing. I think there's some interesting things happening with that, and I think maybe that last chapter might have had, at least in my opinion, maybe slightly a positive turn near the end. And I'll explain what I mean by that in just a second. But yeah, the Dalinar stuff is a little sad, a little depressing. And then I mean, I could have spent. I feel like if there's not one already, there needs to be like a Celebrant, however you say it, novella, or like just a little slice of life style short story about what it was like maybe before the Fused like ran in there and took over the city. Because it's kind of a bummer. It's like we get to the Sprint City and they're like, oh yeah, bad guys have already taken us over. Fun. It's like that's a bummer. So yeah, I was a little disappointed that we didn't get to spend as much time here as I would have liked. Definitely some really cool paths we could have gone down. The different types of spren all living together, but then also kind of like in their own little groups. And then I guess the fact that there's even a hierarchy among spren, and it's like these honor spren are just like, oh, you can't ride on our boat, humans. And then it's like, oh, the ancient daughter, whatever that means. It's like Syl just happens to be like the most important spren in the area. So definitely interesting. Definitely excited to read more about that kind of stuff, but it seems like we're now leaving the city, so that's a little bit of a bummer. Yeah, I wanted to touch on the Dalinar stuff again. I mean, I kind of feel like Dak's right. There's some kind of like willful purpose going on with the Dalinar stuff, and my thought led to, well, this stuff is kind of ungluing Dalinar, and we know there's a person who wants to do that. It's Taravangian. So could he somehow be behind what's going on with Dalinar? If not, then what is behind it? But it's playing into Taravangian's plan, right? But I will say, I feel like the end of that section with Dalinar talking to Nohadon is a turning point, because I feel like Nohadon's like basically telling him something very important that is going to hopefully bring about a positive change for Dalinar. I feel like it's kind of subtle, and I don't know exactly what the point Nohadon was trying to make, but maybe Dalinar does, and we'll get that information going forward. So, yeah, excited to keep reading good stuff this week.
Yeah, see, I'm right there with you. It seems like there must be some message here.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what the hell are we doing with this last chapter? It's so kind of just really odd.
Yeah.
And but I don't know what the message is at this point.
Yeah, it was weird, kind of like a subtle thing that I felt like it was hinting at, look, if you do this, like this will... I don't know. The message is almost like be the person that you can be or should be or whatever, but I don't know exactly how that plays out in reality. Also, there's just like, I don't know, there's something hopeful in it. Nohadon seems like a guy to bring a certain type of hope, unless it's all a ruse, right? Like maybe this dream/vision was put in his head by an enemy, and if so, then we're falling for a ruse here. But I feel like there's some kind of positive thing coming out of it.
Hopefully, yeah. With that I really hope there's some positive thing coming out of it for sure.
Yeah, what a ride for these chapters. There was a lot going on here. Exciting to be getting to this part of the book. Hopefully, Dalinar. That was wild, watching him just spiral out of control with the thrill and everything that was happening to him there. It felt very disorienting for me reading what he was going through. So that was wild. No one really wants to go through that, but interesting with what was coming up about the thrill and how it affected the other armies and stuff in the Civil War. And then have it, I almost was like, is it a bit of a panic attack? How much of it is the thrill? How much is it he's worried about the thrill coming back? So yeah, like that was crazy. It'd be interesting to see if that really gets to him again, or just if he's really vulnerable at the moment with all of his memories coming back and having to process a lot of information and really heavy information. So I don't know. We'll see what happens to him there. And then obviously going through this next vision, dream, I don't know. It's almost like there's so many bits and pieces that his brain is having to process and coming together. Like, it could be a vision that someone's put in his head. It could just be him trying to work out some stuff. You know, got to see a way through. He's been given information about, you know, the cognitive realm, the spiritual realm. Obviously, we know we've got some people trapped that need to come out. This information could be useful to Dalinar. I'm sort of hoping it points us in a direction where he'll be able to figure out what's going on, or I don't know, maybe it puts us on a path to reuniting our two sets of characters with that information. But yeah, it's not a fun time to be Dalinar right now. It's sad to see him back in his spiral, back in the drink. You know, you hope that he manages to overcome this, you know, this fourth stage of who he was, the real fake person he became, because he, you know, locked away all these memories. And when we're like, you know, but that's a really good Dalinar, and that's still you, bring that Dalinar back. That's what we want to see. Especially when we know that, you know, the Alethi are very much needing some leadership right now. I mean, Dalinar doesn't know that Elhokar's gone, so, you know, he really needs to step up and do what needs to be done. But it's hard to just do that. So I feel for the guy. And our other friends in, oh my God, what is this? I was just saying to Dak this morning, the place that they've gone to, I want to call it Coruscant, and I know that's not right. It is called
Celebrant.
Celebrant. It's a really common word that we use in the English language. Celebrant. Okay. Our friends in Celebrant. Yeah, that was that was fleeting, wasn't it? I wish, like the others, that we got to spend a bit more time there and see what was going on. But on some level, I'm kind of not surprised. You know, they had a pretty bad time to start off with. They've managed to buy a bit of time on the ship. It's chaos, you know, in the real world. It makes sense to be a bit of chaos here too. And not surprised that we went there. I like the taste. I definitely agree with Joe. We should have some sort of novella or something centered here. That would be really cool, because I would like to see more about this place. But there's a lot more questions that have been raised. What the hell is going on with Syl? Who is Syl? Yes, she's an honest friend, but she seems to be a lot more significant than we've been led to believe, I guess. This painting, I'm really intrigued by the painting that Kaladin was so captivated by. I kind of wish he had opportunity to buy the painting, because it sounds really cool and would like to learn more about that. Yeah, I guess it's just disappointing we didn't get to see more of what was going on there. I did love how fashion conscious Adolin was in these particular sets of chapters. You know, having a private space to go and alter his look was priorities in the moment. Bit of fun, but yeah, it was good. I do like seeing all these characters interact, and I thought it was interesting that Syl was like, maybe I should go with Shallan, and it's like, whoa, I'm so used to you and Kaladin just being together, and like you two are together and inseparable. What do you mean you just go with Shallan? But obviously that didn't happen, and into chaos pretty quickly there. So a lot going on, a lot to dive into today.
Yeah, I like that you mentioned the painting, because we're going to talk about that more when we get there. Just throw that out for a second as we go by. But it is an interesting painting for sure. One of the things you mentioned was toward the beginning is like Dalinar is processing some heavy stuff, which is so true. It's like stuff that he, I guess, had to get rid of to recover from what he was going through, and now it's all back. So in a way, it's hard to blame him for his reaction to it. But like, how tough would it be for any of us to suddenly have all of these horrifying memories? You know.
Yeah, and especially having to go through them again in rapid succession. You know, it didn't happen that rapidly in real time. So, I mean, obviously the stuff with Evie and everything, that was a pretty pointed incident, but there's a lot of stuff that was like, this isn't great, this isn't great, this isn't great. And he's not only coming to terms with, oh, this is how it happened, I'm the reason it happened, but also I've come to know this idea of who I am now, and I've built up this identity now that is just completely false. It's not false. You know, he did what he had with the information he had at the time, but it's built on a lie, I guess. So you're not only dealing with all these things that did actually happen before. You now have to deal with them at exactly the same time, and that would be crushing.
Yeah. Just on top of everything else that he also has going on today. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
And I wonder, how much does Navani know about, sorry to kind of like insert myself here, but like how much does Navani know about what happened? Because like if she knows the actual story and she likes, she loves Dalinar, like that's definitely different than what we were, than what we know beforehand. So like, does she have the official story or does she know the actual story? Because like who all knows the actual story, I guess is my question.
Well, and not only that, but it's like, you remember Dalinar, there was what actually happened, which not many people, I don't even think even Sadeas knew the truth about that. It was just a few of his elites or whatever. Then there was what the scribes thought happened. They're like, oh, she must have been betraying us and she went to them and they killed her. And then Dalinar was like, no, we'll say that she was assassinated. So there's what really happened. There's the official story that she was assassinated. And then there's the fake secret that some people know and think that they're like in the know about. So yeah, which one of those could Navani know?
Yeah.
And not only that, but it's like, if she doesn't know, and we talked about last time, like it didn't seem like Dalinar had told her that he got these memories back. So if she doesn't know anything about what actually happened, like how do you tell your new wife that what you've just learned about what happened to your first wife? Like that's an awkward fucking conversation to have. Oh, also, one thing you pointed out, Jamie, you were like, could this be like the pathway to reuniting our characters? And I was curious, how do you see that happening if that was the case?
Oh, I don't know. I just sort of thought that there's some information here that could potentially be useful to Dalinar or to explore. Like if he now, say, was to speak to Yasna, someone he trusts and would, likely confide in on some level, if he was to open a conversation up with Yasna and maybe give some of that information, that would maybe then prompt Yasna's thought process, because Yasna's got abilities that potentially could get her to our characters. If there's a thought process triggered for her to kind of help solve the problem, maybe that's a way we could get back to our characters like altogether. But I think it would still be probably a little ways away. Obviously, it's not as simple as Yasna can just slip on into the cognitive realm. There's obviously steps for her, but we don't know what that is yet. So maybe it's a good opportunity for us to get to explore her abilities a bit more and eventually get our characters all back together.
Yeah, that would be nice actually to explore her, because this is the person who's had their powers the longest of these Radiants, if you don't count like Seth or like Nail or somebody like that, of the guys on our side. And we don't really know much about what she can do. We don't even know, because we've seen with the Skybreakers especially, it was like there's a very rigid, if you say your first oath you can do this, if you say your second oath you can then do that, your third oath you so on and so forth. So we don't even know how many oaths Yasna has said, so, like where she would be along that continuum. She's so mysterious, I guess let's move into these chapters. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole because we just don't know enough about what she's got going on. Chapter 100 is An Old Friend. And the epigraph, I'm convinced that Ner'gul is still active on Roshar. The accounts of the Alethi thrill of battle align too well with the ancient records, including the visions of red mist and dying creatures, which does sound a lot like something that we saw from Dalinar's perspective not long ago. So,
yeah. Again, these epigraphs are actually giving us information. Now, I know it's written by an author that disagrees with Yasna, so like maybe, how much of what they're saying is accurate. But in this instance, I think it's probably accurate because of what we know outside of this epigraph, and also even if it wasn't completely accurate, I mean, how different does that change the narrative? But at the same time, like getting this perspective and other information.
Yeah, and this one in particular, it's not like there's anything super new for us in here, but it lines things up in a way that you're like, oh, this person may actually know what they're talking about on some of this. Okay, so we've got Dalinar remembered almost everything now, except for the stuff about going to visit the Night Watcher. As we already talked about that. He doesn't have that yet. Why? Who knows? The problem is that he doesn't like any of these things he's remembered, and he's supposed to be touring Dalinar, and he's having some trouble concentrating. And we see the capital is like just, we kind of saw it before when Taravangian visited and became king, but like this place was destroyed. And he's having so much trouble that he needs to go off on his own for a while. He's like, look, I'm gonna go up there on the wall and look. Just let me be for a bit.
Yeah, he basically runs away. The guy's like, I can show you. He's like, nah, I'm cool, bye.
And he's smelling smoke, and he thinks in the years after her death, smoke had like been a trigger for the memories and setting him off, and now that seems to be coming back too. And we learned that during the Civil War, it says that they'd had incredible losses, baffling losses. Most armies break after 10% casualties, but here they kept fighting after losing like half their people. Why? And he's hearing the weeping in his head again, which is weirdly similar to what Seth hears. I don't know if there's a relevance there, but it's not good for either of them.
Do you know if there's relevance there? Why are you bringing it up? See, now I'm suspicious.
Well, I was just going to say, it's like, it doesn't speak well for your mental stability for either one of them. They're both hearing voices frequently.
Yeah, but this is like weird magic realm where hearing voices is kind of normal. It's like the Stormfather's in his head all the time.
That's okay, fair.
What color is this herring you're holding?
Yeah.
Communism was just a red herring. Let's see. Oh, and there's Taravangian. And Taravangian has brought one of those shields, the half shards, as they're calling them. There's legends of metal that can block a shard blade, a metal that falls from the sky, silvery, but somehow lighter.
See, and then they start this conversation about sacrifice and stuff, and like this is what kind of makes me think, like, what is Taravangian knows something, like outside of the diagram. Maybe the diagram predicts like Dalinar will have issues because he killed his wife, but like outside of that, is there like, does he know because he's in some way causing this to happen? This is kind of what like gets my suspicions up. Like he's having all these dark thoughts, and then here's Taravangian. He shows up. He's like, "Hey, we have to capture Spren to do this. It's not great. Look how sad. Like, man, this sure is a sacrificial type of thing. Like, I don't know. It's just like it's too convenient that he shows up right here.
Is it that he knows something of what Dalinar's going through, or does he just can he just see the fact that Dalinar's going through some shit and he's just like, oh man, I got to get in on this, and tries to push him further?
I mean, I feel like it could be either one because of the creepy diagram future telling power.
Yeah. Could be either. It's like I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing about the diagram. We don't know how much it knows and how correct any of it is. So,
because I mean, last time we saw it, he was changing it up some as well. So
yeah, well, he's basically like, "Oh, I misinterpreted this in my stupidity. Let me fix this, and now it makes more sense."
Yeah,
but like, is that folly or is that accurate reinterpretation?
Mm-hmm. But as you mentioned, he starts talking about, hey, do you know how fabrials work? Do you know that we have to like enslave a spren and a gemstone to make a fabrial? Which is just like, okay, random, my dude.
Mm-hmm.
I was more interested in the mystical metal that falls from the sky can block shard blades, but whatever, we can talk about this.
Yeah, that cool metal you were talking about, way more interesting.
I mean,
it's like some kind of lost metal, guys? Huh?
He says it's silvery and light.
It's aluminium, obviously.
Yeah, probably. But why does it fall from the sky?
Tinfoil meteors.
That's a good band name. I call that.
And Taravangian points out some stuff about the Sunmaker, because Dalinar's kind of down on his ancestor, the Sunmaker, for being such a tyrant. And Taravangian points out that, yeah, I mean, he was tyrannical, but it resulted in all these, like, we're now centuries down the line, it resulted in all these really positive long-term effects. So, would it have been better if he had successfully conquered the world? Would that have put us in a better position today to resist what's happening? And Dalinar can't refute it, and really just doesn't want to think about this right now.
He's like, I'm going through my own shit, man. Why you gotta bring up this old shit?
I gotta go somewhere.
I gotta go.
Adios.
I gotta go have some other conversation with anyone else.
Yeah, with myself.
He's like, I gotta go check on Navani. Bye.
bye, I guess.
I watched Scott Pilgrim recently again, and there's a moment where he's like, "I gotta go," and then he turns and runs out of the middle of an awkward conversation, and that's what this
Yeah.
feels like to me.
It's like, bye. I feel like the same thing happens here in a minute when he gets excommunicated. He's like, we know that he's like, I gotta go because I'm about to kill this guy. But to everybody else, it must be like, what just happened? He just ran away.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, we don't really see a bunch of other people's takes on what happened, but it does seem crazy, probably.
And you know this is going to spread like wildfire. It's like, yeah, we told the Blackthorn he was excommunicated, and he just fucking ran.
Yeah, he headed for the hills very quickly.
But yeah, we're not. We'll get there in a second, I guess, because that's coming up. But he meets an elderly veteran, and it's like, oh hey, I fought your army at Slick Rock. Wasn't that some great battling? And they like reminisce. These two old, like they've never met each other before, but they were on opposite sides of the same battle, and now years later we're on the same side, and so it's like a pleasant memory, which seems crazy to me, but whatever.
Got to be the first person to have a pleasant memory of facing the Blackthorn's army.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things. It's like that you read about with, opposing forces. It's like an honor among warriors. It's like, yeah, remember that, man? We sure had like a battle that was worthy of it, of the name. Like it was such an honorable fight. It's kind of one of those things. Is the sense that I get.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, that's that's a nice relationship to be able to have here.
Well, especially now that they're allies.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Plus, it's probably like a status symbol. It's like, I fought the Blackthorn and lived.
Yeah, that Civil War, that messed me up.
True.
But the Blackthorn battle, I survived that one. Good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I didn't win, but I survived, and that's an accomplishment.
And then they talk a little bit about the Civil War, and he's like, they're just traumatized, but it's like nobody would stop. Even when it should have been done, we just kept on killing. It burned in us. You know it, don't you, Bright Lord? The river inside you, pulling your blood all up into your head and making you love each swing, making it so you can't stop no matter how tired you are. And Dalinar, he's starting to freak out.
Yeah, he's like, it's like Teft with his like weird finger drug.
And Dalinar's like, oh my gosh, did you all feel this? And they're like, yeah, all of us. And he starts kind of losing it again. And he's like, okay, I gotta go.
Okay, goodbye.
This is too much.
That's Dalinar's whole experience in Vednar, like getting overwhelmed and being like, okay, see ya, bye.
Maybe I'll be calmer if I go do this. But it made it worse.
Yeah,
It works. Yep.
everything's making it worse.
And he tries to go. And he almost gets in a fight with like a Veddan soldier. He's like, hey, who are you? What are you doing up here?
Man, this guy does not know how close he came to annihilation.
Yeah. Also, it doesn't make sense. Wouldn't they all know? Yeah, the Blackthorn's here. Like, why? What did? I don't know.
Yeah, but if he doesn't have like his entourage, they wouldn't necessarily know that this guy is the Blackthorn.
He had his guards right with him.
Yeah. But yeah, it's he's like, I gotta go. I'm gonna kill this guy if I don't leave right now. And then Rial, that guard that has been hanging around with him for a while, he's like, hey, I know you said, I know I'm not supposed to carry this, but it looks like you might need it. And he pulls out his canteen, which has some alcohol in it.
Which also makes it worse. He's like, no, not that.
I've started calling this guy in my head Bad Smell, because that's what he's hanging around like.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I still
That doesn't help.
I still enjoy this fellow.
He annoys me, and here he is, just like, hey, like it was fairly widely known that Dalinar was a drunkard. He's finally off the wagon, and here's this guy's like, you want some of that sweet juice? Nah, fuck off, man.
Okay, that's fair. I don't know if the Alethi see like being on the wagon or whatever as the same in the same way that we do.
Yeah,
But,
okay, that's fair. That might be a modern Earth person projecting onto a culture that doesn't have the same values, but the guy still annoys me.
Fair, And so he's like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna become like that guy again, that guy that I used to be, or am I gonna become the drunkard? Like, is there no choice? Do I have to be the murderer or the guy who's like just drunk all the time and incapable of doing anything? And he's hearing things in his head, and he screams, "Leave me alone!" And then he hears like, "Give me your pain," which that's disturbing.
Yes, like give me your pain. It sounds like Hellraiser, like Pinhead. He's just like fucking. What's that? What's that one line? It's like, "No tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering." It's a good one.
I've never actually seen any of those movies.
They're just okay.
So this rang a bell for me. Like, who was? What were they saying? What was the thing saying to Shallan back in Kolinar? It's like, give me your something.
Oh, hold on. Give me your
I
passion.
meant to
Passion. That's right.
And your
'cause
hunger. It says both.
It's the emotion guy. The emotion
Yeah.
I made.
I forgot about. Like, I forgot to go back and check. But yeah, okay. So this is another. Like, we know the unmade are odium's dudes, but it sounds like this one's like whichever one is the give me a thing. Unless maybe they all individually do that one. Like it's the each of the 10 are just like give me your something. Yeah, I don't know. So there's something else at work here beyond just like Nergal's just making you feel the thrill, kill people, do it. Come on, poke him with a stick.
You know you want to. It's so easy.
And so he starts to try to leave. He's like, I gotta get out of here. And he goes towards the Oath Gate, but then there's somebody there who, like, Navani's like, I'm sorry, Dalinar, I tried to get rid of him, but he insists. And Dalinar's like, what are you talking about? And it's one of the curates, like the leaders of the Veden, or of the, what's it called? The church.
Vorin.
Yeah,
Vorin.
it's a Vorin.
The Enclave.
Yeah, so it's one of the leaders of the church.
Yeah. He's like, we are the Spanish Inquisition.
And the guy just yells out his name, and Donald's like, yeah, that's me. You want to go and let's go somewhere private to talk. And the guy just yells louder. It's like, we cannot tolerate your insistence that the Almighty is not God. You are hereby proclaimed excommunicate and anathema.
Yeah. So this is like why I said Spanish Inquisition, because Dalinar's like, yeah, let's go talk in private. He's like, no, everyone must know.
But is also the opposite of the Spanish Inquisition, because when Dalinar's protesting, he's like, you should have expected this. You knew this.
Yeah, it's like everyone expected this.
That's a fair point. Yeah, okay.
Instead of no one expecting us, everyone should have.
Everyone expects the Vorin Inquisition.
Good one. Classic line. That's a shirt right there.
Yep.
And so he's just getting madder and madder, and he's like, I am going to kill this man. If I don't run right now, he is going to die. And so he runs into the Oathgate control building, but you have to have a shard blade to turn it on, and he doesn't have one of those. And he's like reaching for the keyhole before he even remembers, and the Stormfather's like, Dalinar, something's wrong. What something hidden to me. What are you sensing? What's going on?
Straight away, you know how you know this is fucked? Is Stormfather used his name. When has Stormfather ever done that?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't recall.
He's usually like, homeboy, what's going on?
Dude, this is Stormfather said homeboy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then Dalinar does something. And the Stormfather's like, wait, what? No, this is not right.
He's like, you're not allowed to do that. Only I'm allowed to do that.
Dude, we talked about this.
And so Stormfather's like, I'm not going to be a sword for you. We talked about this, as Dak mentioned. But it's just something bright white appears in his hand, and he rams it into the keyhole. And the Stormfather groans like thunder. And then whatever it is, it operates the Oathgate.
Yeah. Well, if we think of, I mean, I feel like we have enough kind of base knowledge to say like spren seems to be made of some sort of investiture, right? So like maybe if the blades are just like a manifestation of spren's investiture, then I would say that this is kind of describing an unformed, like it's investiture that's not formed into a blade, right? So basically what I'm understanding is spren investiture is needed to operate these oath gates, or maybe just investiture in general. We don't know enough about the oath gates to know how it works, but anyway, that's kind of what I took from it, which is a good point, which brings up a good point in my head. Like, does that mean breaths could operate the gates? Because we know some people that got breaths.
I kind of assumed it was specifically like they're the oath gates. That says to me honor. Like the spren graded with honors investiture can do it. Because Odium spren have control of the oath gate in Kolinar, and they're not flooding Ethereal and conquering the place right now. So
I guess that's a good point.
Maybe they can't open it.
That's a really good point, Dak. I didn't think about that. You're right.
Oh, wait, no, hang on. It's got to be at least honor and cultivation because Lift opened the one in Azir and she has cultivation spren.
Right. So maybe it has to be investiture that's of the planet, not Odium or any other investiture.
Yeah, maybe.
Good thoughts.
And yeah, so the Stormfather, whatever he did, the Stormfather's pissed off after it's done. It says he can feel him pulling away, not breaking the bond, but withdrawing his favor, whatever that means.
It's like, I think he's just pissed off. He's like, no, you're not allowed to wield me, even if it's not in a blade, I guess. I don't know.
Well, he's probably just said, like, you gave me your word. You have broken a small oath, and I am not about that.
It's true.
No, he is not about that. And here's Evie's voice. You can't escape yourself, Dalinar. This is who you are. Accept it. And like he runs and grabs the Way of Kings. Like maybe this will help. It doesn't.
Maybe my boat. I love the insert there that he grabs the book. He's like, I can't even read this. It's like, yeah, dude, you can't. You're a guy. You can't even read.
How's that going to do anything for you? Man?
Yeah, it's like I can't even read it. How's this going to help me? It's just such
item.
Yeah, it's
okay,
such a tough it's such a tough place to be in. It's like this thing that brought me comfort because of its words. I can't even read it.
And so that when that doesn't work, he goes into Adolin's room and finds some violet wine, and he's like, "This represents like the third guy I was, the shameful, the alcoholic, basically. But hell, it's better than the other options." And so he starts drinking, and that's the end of the chapter.
Not drunken ass back.
And Violet was that the most alcoholic one or the second most? I gotta go back and look.
It's pretty. I think it's the most. We know Adolin likes to drink stiff drinks.
Violet is the most. So,
besides like the Horn Eater, whatever.
Oh yeah. I don't count that one. That one will just kill you or something.
I was about to say Shalon drank a bunch of it.
But she has Stormlight, so I guess technically Dalinar does too. He could burn it all away. That would kind of defeat the point.
Yeah,
no,
he probably also doesn't know how. He's like,
yeah. Also, Stormfather might not allow it. He's like, nope, you got yourself into this mess. You deal with the hangover.
That would be funny. He's like, nope, you still get to get the hangover. Actually, Shalon still had the hangover. Like she burned away the alcohol, but was still hungover the next day or something. I feel like
that's right. Yeah.
So yeah. So Deadeye is the next chapter, and the epigraph. Moloch is very similar to Ner'gul, though instead of inspiring battle rage, he grants visions of the future. And so Hessie is theorizing that that's where the idea that seeing the future comes from the enemy from the Unmade. That's probably the source of that, which would make sense. And we start with, as Jamie mentioned, Adolin, very fashion conscious. He has gotten some clothes and he had to cut them up a little bit to make it all look good, do a little sewing, but he's got an outfit that he's happy with. He's like, oh, the jacket's a little too baggy, but you can leave it unbuttoned, and then it looks like it's all unintentional, sort of. This guy, even on a boat in the middle of nowhere, way more conscientious of what he's wearing than I am.
No one cares, Adolin.
Yeah, he's the only one that cares.
Except you.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it like literally Kaladin's like, what? How did you do that? What? Why did you do that?
Yeah, I love the detail of it's like, oh, this jacket's still a little too loose, and I'm just like, dude, I'm going to like the nicest events in the world, and I'm not concerned that my jacket is too loose. So okay, I'm going to the nicest events in my world, I should say. I'm not going to events.
The nicest events in my world.
Yeah, like
as if you could go to another world.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, the nicest events that I go to are not the nicest events in the world.
Oh, well, that's a whole different thing. It sounded like you were saying you could world hop or something. I was like, what are you talking about?
No.
We're not world hoppers here.
Could be fun. It could also be horribly dangerous.
I was about to say horribly dangerous and terrifying.
That's fun sometimes, you know?
I mean, it can be, I guess.
I love that he decided he needed a waistcoat, a vest. but he didn't have one. So he took a jacket that was too small and just like cut it into a vest and then cut the back open, because you won't see that as long as he's got his jacket on. It's just, he's so much thought put into this. And let's see. We have a conversation with Aiko, the captain of the ship. And I won't go into all the details, but the part that's interesting to me is that he's like, you're all humans. None of you, regardless of birth, can be trusted with oaths. Contract to travel, that's a small thing, that's fine. But we know that humans will betray trust if it is given to them. And then he's like, oh, that was rude. And Adelin's like, well, yeah, but that doesn't mean that it's not true.
Yeah.
And he's like, look, I'm not trying to be rude. It's just, it's not your fault. You're humans, and humans betray oaths. That's just what they do. And Adelin's like, yeah, you don't know my father. And then he feels uncomfortable even thinking about that. And when he comes out, Kaladin's like, how the did you sew that? Like, what? And Shallan's over here like, man, I wish I had a skirt. And Asher's like, what, really? Yeah, I get tired of the way trousers rub my legs. Adelin, could you sew me a dress? Maybe stitch the legs of these trousers together? And he's like, yeah, no, I mean, there's not enough fabric there. I like to imagine what that would look like. That would be the thinnest skirt where you're just kind of like having to shuffle as you walk because you can't move your legs. Oh, and then we get to some more stuff about that you can read into about Azur's identity, where she says sewing's a weird skill for a royal to have. And he's like, well, how many royals have you known? And she goes, more than some might assume. And then she says, I discovered when I was younger that being too open with strangers went poorly for me. But I have known royals, including one woman who left it behind, the throne, the family, the responsibilities. And this is just like, from a Lethe perspective, this is crazy. Like, you abandoned your duty? What? And she's like, yeah, the throne was better served by someone who enjoyed sitting on it. And he's like, duty's not about what you enjoy. What? You're not even speaking English right now. What are you trying to say? You can't abandon your responsibilities just because you feel like it. And then he's like, I'm sorry. My father and uncle have rubbed off on me some. And she's like, maybe you're right. And maybe there's some part of me that knows it, because I always find myself in situations like Kolinar where I get too involved and then I abandon everyone. But of all things that I have walked away from, the one I don't regret is allowing someone else to rule. Sometimes the best way to do your duty is to let someone else who's more capable try carrying it. And he's still just like, I don't, this makes no sense to me, but whatever. So I think that is another tick in the could this be Vivenna column, where it's like, she was royalty and she walked away from that.
Yeah, agreed.
And yeah, I forget if she was going to rule. Like, she was the firstborn, I think, but the plan was for her to go off and marry the God King, so she wasn't ever going to rule her country until
But I mean,
sent Ciri instead.
If she married the God King, then she would have also kind of been a ruler, I guess.
Oh, true. Yeah, fair point. But I think after Ciri got sent to marry Celebrant, like, her dad was like, yeah, it's going to be better for our kingdom if you're in charge. So I think maybe she was going to. I don't know. Which would suck for her brother, who had been prepared for rule his whole life, and then it's like, oh, by the way, no, we're going to keep your sister, and she's going to be in charge instead.
It's like, oh, cool, thanks. What do I do?
And they come finally to Celebrant, and Captain Aiko is like, okay, we're getting there. Let's go get your Deadeye. And they've kept the spren of Adelin's sword locked up, which he does not like. But Aiko's like, you can't have them on deck. They don't watch where they're going. They fall off, and then you got to fish them out. It's a whole thing. And then it turns out that his father, Aiko's father, is also one of these. And he's also locked up down here. I got to keep him locked up or he'll go searching for the human carrying his corpse. Walk right off the deck.
Okay, this raises questions. So, we knew that Syl was Stormfather's daughter in the sense that he was just like the father, like he was just the offshoot of Honor. And so all the Honor Spren sort of came from him. But this implies that Spren have a whole reproductive system that we don't know about.
I think Syl talks about that a little bit in this section, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's like, it almost seems like it's like it's like a nucleus dividing, like cellular. It's like, yeah, a bunch of investiture gathers, they go to a place, and then a new spren appears and is considered their child.
Oh, I forgot about that bit. Sorry, it's been a while since I read this.
No worries. But yes, it does. I like that this is beginning to raise these questions about, like, how does spren reproduction work? Because that is a thing, apparently. And the guy asks Adolin, like, what is she to you? And Adolin says, a friend. And he's like, no, a tool. You use her corpse on the other side, don't you? Well, I don't blame you. I've heard about what they can do, and I'm a pragmatic guy. Just don't pretend she's your friend. Which I can't decide if that's harsh or if it's fair.
A little
Like-
this, a little that.
Maybe.
Yeah, both.
So they show up. There's a big, wide dock here in Celebrant. It is a lot of ships coming and going here. Warehouses, all kinds of stuff. And they're like, they thank him, and then they take off. And they're like, where are we going to go? I almost said Vasher because it sounds like Azure. Azure, and Azure is still insisting that we should be going to the Perpendicularity. Kaladin wants still to go to Thaylen City. And Captain Aiko is not willing to take them to either of those places.
He's like, nah, nobody want to go to jail over there. It's not a good place.
And the only advice the captain gives them about the city is don't go too far outside because there's human cities nearby, so there will be anger spread around. And Syl is still wearing her illusion outfit, so she looks human. Looks Alethi specifically. And they decide that they're going to split up. Half of us are going to go and see what ships we can find. Maybe there's only ships going one place or only ships going the other place, and that will make our decision for us about where we want to try to go. And the rest of us are going to go shopping. And Syl, look, they're like, we want one spren with each group to help translate and stuff. And Syl's like, maybe I should go with Shallan. She does not want to go off into the market, and I think we see why later. Chapter 102, Celebrant, and this one we're still talking about Moloch. He grants visions at different times, but most commonly at the transition point when a soul is nearing the Tranquiline Halls. So, when you're about to die. I want to know what the other points are, because that seems relevant. So, it's not a densely populated city, like a lot of human cities. It's kind of spread out, I guess. But it's also just full of all different kinds of spren. Some of them that look like vines, like Adolin's sword, though they had crystal hands. Spren with inky black skin. There's some cryptics.
So what kind of spren do we think these guys are? I have no idea. I just thought maybe if somebody else had an idea. Like Data could probably just tell us what they are, right? Go on, Data.
The inky black ones isn't that Shallan spren Ivory? Isn't that his dude?
You mean Yasna?
group?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yasna.
fuck, did it again.
That is exactly how her spren Ivory has been described, yes. And I believe we've even been told the name of them before by Yasna. They're called Ink Spren. And we've mentioned the ones with the vines, like Adolin's sword, also like Windle.
Yeah. The window, yeah.
Yeah, those are cultivation spren. I think we've talked about both of those before. Cryptics, obviously we know what that is. There's some with skin, like cracked stone with molten light shining from beneath it, which I think is a very cool picture.
Yeah. We haven't been told what Renarin's spren looks like, have we?
I don't recall that. I don't think we've ever actually seen Renarin's spren. We saw Yasna try to get a look at it once, I think, but I don't
That's
know
right.
that we've actually
Yeah.
seen it. Some had skin the color of old white ashes. And when Kaladin saw one of them point towards something, the skin stretching at the joint of the arm disintegrated and blew away, revealing the bones underneath, and then quickly regrew back, which sounds just insane to me.
Disturbing.
Yeah. Buildings are made of brick, and Kaladin's like, where did they get the building materials? Are there like quarries or? And so it's like, you know what? I don't know. I think maybe we make it appear on this side somehow from yours, like Aiko did with that ice. And Adolin, of course, is noticing the outfits. Like, oh, they're just wearing whatever they feel like. Like, that guy's got clothes from 5 different countries he's wearing all mixed together. And Kaladin's like, no children, though. And so it's like, oh, no, there have been a few children. They're just not, like, human children. Adolin's like, how does that even work? And she's like, well, it's way less messy than your method, I'll tell you that. So yeah, you go to places where the power of the gods coalesces. Parts of it start to become aware. You go and you come back with a child, I think. So she's also not sure, but also, like, spren don't raise kids that often. She goes, yeah, most spren go hundreds of years without doing it. They pass stalls selling just all sorts of stuff. Clothes, they buy several things of clothes. And Syl wants some clothes too. And he's like, why do you need clothes? Your clothes are built into you. And she's like, well, those are boring. He says, well, can't you change that? Yeah, take Stormlight on this side. Plus, my dress is part of my essence, so I'm actually walking around naked all the time. And they have a discussion about how Kaladin has 3 sets of clothing. So outrageous. Like, He's like, I have 2 sets, one that I can wear while I'm washing the other one. It's like, what about what you wear under that? He's like, you mean my underwear? Yeah, see, 3 sets. I have none.
Can you imagine the look on Adelin's face if Kaladin just started striding around in his underwear? And he's just like, that's cool. My spren told me to do it.
Yeah, it's fine. They find like a weapon stall, which includes a long, thin, silvery chain, which only costs 1,000 bromes of stormlight. No big. No idea what that is. Most of the food is canned, like from the ships. And then there's a stall selling art. And Kaladin sees a very interesting piece, it's like 9 shadows with a figure kneeling in the middle. And we cut away from that for a minute, so we'll be back to that shortly. Ships do not want to go to Cultivation's Perpendicularity. They all say that Void Spren in warships are demanding tribute from anyone who approaches. She says she'd rather trade with Honor Spren than take another trip to the Perpendicularity. I think this is an insult? Ha ha ha. And there's several varieties of Void Spren, which is new information for us, I feel like, but we've seen a couple of them at least. Also, there's like maybe fused men with shells that can fly. I don't know. Like, Pattern is not the most helpful, quite honestly, in this situation. Overall, Pattern's super helpful.
What are you talking about? He's given them plenty of information. He's just like, oh, there you go. He's just very blasé about it.
Okay, fair. Apparently, things have been changing a lot here. Void Spren showing up near Marat or Tukar on your side. They've sailed up and seized the Perpendicularity.
Don't skip over this place called the Nexus of Imagination. What the fuck is that?
That's
like,
a fair
is imagination
question, yeah.
like another shard who's just kind of like, I don't have a perpendicularity here, but I got an outpost.
Could be.
Yeah, I just like to hang out, you know?
Who doesn't, really?
His avatar is like SpongeBob, just like imagination.
I was going for like the South Park Imagination Land. The dude in the balloon just sings imagination over and over again, and they all hate him.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Have you not?
No. South Park always made me want to go to Bennigan's, though. Or Casa Bonito. But...
Casa Bonito. We will eventually see a more comprehensive map of Shadesmar, and Nexus of Imagination, probably you'll have many more questions than that when we eventually get there.
Oh, fucking great.
And so they're just going to keep working down the list. Maybe we can find a ship that'll take us to one of the places we want to go. But so far, like the dock registrar showed no ships going either way that they were wanting to sail. So then they find one ship. It's Spren with skin like cracked rock, which I believe is the same one we saw referenced earlier. And it's like, humans! Like this guy seems happy to see humans.
Tasty, tasty humans. Wait, never mind.
Always interesting to have humans aboard. Just don't eat my pet chicken. Ha ha ha. But no negotiations now. We have inspection soon. Come back in half an hour. And then we see who is doing the inspecting. It is a Parshman floating a foot or two off the deck, and they're on Aiko's ship right now. So that's not good. And we cut back to Kaladin, who's still looking at this picture, and the guy selling it is like, oh, it's marvelous, huh? Or the woman selling it, sorry. A unique piece, human, from the far off court of gods, a painting intended only for a divinity to see. Exceptionally rare that one escapes being burned at court.
So is this also from Warbreaker Planet?
Yeah, from the Court of the Gods in Warbreaker. We saw they have lots of art that the gods look at all the time.
Like, I had forgotten that completely.
And we also know from Warbreaker that, as she says here, most of them get destroyed after the god has viewed them. We saw the one that Nightblood really liked that was all red, and it was called the Battle of Twilight Falls. That one, he was like, hey, put that in my personal collection. Like, that one survived, but most of the art gets destroyed after he looks at it.
You said Nightblood. Did you mean...
Light Song, sorry.
Yeah, I was like, wait. the sword was like, put this in my personal collection? You can't even see it.
The hidden depths of Nightblood, he's actually really into art.
Hey, he could be. But in point of fact, this piece by Nenefra is every person who sees one of his masterworks sees something different. So people asked Brandon, is this that same painting that had a major role in Warbreaker? And he said that it is the same artist. It's probably not the same painting, is what he said. So take from that what you will. Also, the painting is super expensive. And then there's a disturbance, and Adelin's like, hey, dude, we got a problem. And we cut to Shallan, who is complaining to the registrar spren. How could you neglect to point out that Void Spren ruled the city? And he's like, I thought everybody knew. I'm a professional. It's not my job to explain to you things you should already know.
I also love when the fuse comes in later. She's like, look, people keep talking to me like I'm stupid, like I'm supposed to tell everybody everything. You got to communicate with me. It's just so funny.
It is.
Yeah, this registrar makes the most out of a tiny scene.
Meanwhile, the Fused are setting fire to Aiko's ship for some reason. So that's not good. And we cut back to Kaladin. We're cutting back and forth a lot in this chapter, but some spren appear to have recognized Syl, even with her disguise on. And she's like, okay, so you know how I mentioned that I snuck away from the other honor spren? There might have been an enormous reward for my return posted in every port in Shadesmar.
You know,
with my description and some pictures.
Something I probably should have mentioned, but didn't, you know.
And Cal's like, but you've been forgiven. The Stormfather has, like, okayed this. And she's like, yeah, but that's kind of recent. And also, I don't think I have been forgiven. As far as the other Spren are concerned, I'm still a disobedient child, and there's still a giant reward for me, so...
Information that would have been helpful earlier, Syl.
Yeah.
Maybe we would have swapped tasks. And you wouldn't have to go through the market where everyone would see you.
And she didn't think this was important to tell me, he says. And she's like, yeah, sure I did. Right now. I told you.
Weasel out of it, Syl. Adam Sandler is disappointed.
And she's like, okay, but look, I mean, Azure is a bounty hunter. Like, why would I go around talking about the giant bounty on me? And also, I'm kind of like a Spren Light Eyes, and you hate Light Eyes, Kaladin. I didn't want you to not like me.
Oh boy.
It was a little bit sad.
Yeah. And it's true. He hates Light Eyes, you know? But I love her line. Like, I should have known this disguise wouldn't work. I'm obviously too beautiful and interesting to hide.
Wow. Very full of ourselves, aren't we?
Yeah, right. I mean, we know that Shallan can make
Like,
you look completely
I'm
different
Syl.
than you actually look. She could have looked like anybody instead of just like herself as an Alethi. And so the Fused come back to the registrar's office, and they say that ship that they've set on fire was hiding human criminals. There was remnants of human food eaten on the deck. Obviously, there was humans there. 2 or 3 humans, 1 honor spren, and then 1 ink spren. Have you seen the criminals? And you recall, they think that Shallan is an else caller.
That's why I was asking about the inky guys, because they say ink spren here, and I'm like, wait, that's not what the cryptics are they? And so then I got confused.
So, yeah, they think that she should have the same kind of spren as Yasna. Got to be helpful in some way, I don't know. Which actually, that's probably why they're ignoring, like, these others are in here, because Pattern is telling them what they're saying to the registrar, but there's no honor spren, there's no ink spren here. It's a cryptic. Why should we be suspicious of that?
Oh, is he not also disguised?
Let's see. The Fuse burst in.
Yeah, he is. Because
I'm
she
sorry.
says she has to make like a weird hat for him.
You're right. She's disguised them as sailors. I'd forgotten that bit. So, yeah, this is where the guy... The Spren tells them, like, yeah, there were humans and stuff. They went to the market for supplies and asked me what ships were heading for the perpendicularity. And it's like, you hid this from us? Why does everyone assume I just tell them things? I need questions.
Yeah,
like, great moment.
And also, to be fair, like, did the Void Spren say, like, you must report any humans you see? Or, like, did they just expect that they would do that? Because it seems like humans in the past have gone through this city and garnered passage other places. So it's like, what were the expectations?
This poor registrar is just like a low-ranking member at a company that has been bought out by another company, and the new bosses have not made their positions clear. And he's like, "I didn't know that was the rule. Why would you tell me that?"
Also, like, what? You just expect me to know? What the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah.
And then they fire
my
the
job
guy.
before.
Poor dude. It's like, put out the fire, and then you are going to be replaced immediately. And then they leave, and the Spren behind the desk looks at the others. It's like, wait, you're a Radiant? The old oaths are spoken again? And Shallan's like, yeah. It's like, oh, glorious day. We've waited so long for the honor of men to return. Go on, get on the ship. I'll stall them. I mean, he's just been fired, so, you know, what does he care?
Yeah.
He's like, fuck these guys. Yeah, it's like, fuck these guys. You guys get out of here. I'll stall.
Being a registrar was my life. Fuck
yeah.
you. I was trying to feed my spread family.
I don't know what they eat, but yep.
And I
don't know
guess
where I'm going with this.
I'm trying to remember if they mentioned what kind of spren this guy was. I think he was one of the vine spren. So
Yeah,
the
cultivation.
cultivation spren. So maybe he's going to go off and create a new edge dancer.
Ooh, sweet. Lift could have a buddy.
Yeah.
Or a mortal enemy. It's like, we
Yeah.
are not the same.
Yeah.
Windle and this guy are trying to get along, and like Lift just keeps beating up the other one. It's like, would you stop?
Lift's like, I can climb my spread, haha. And they're like, yeah, you can. That's weird.
I love that they split up into two teams in town, and both of them got into completely different trouble within like 5 minutes. And
Guys, I've thought about this, and we're not good at being in Shadesmar. We need to get the fuck out.
Yeah, I've considered this deeply, and we gotta GTFO.
And then as Kaladin's party tries to head back to the docks, they see another ship, all in white and gold, and Still's like, "Oh no, we have to hide." And Kaladin's like, "Is it honor spren?" Yep. Pull your hat back on, and let's go down this alley.
Also, we kind of skipped over. It's like she's running around in like a poncho and a floppy hat. Is the floppy hat a sombrero? Because if so, what is going on?
Shalon made a Mexican outfit. That would be amazing.
No, Shalon didn't make it. They bought it.
They bought it.
You're right. They bought this clothing for her. You're right. I'm sorry. I'd forgotten. Yeah. That's even better. It's just it's the poncho and the sombrero.
Yeah. It's like this suit ain't cheap. You ought to know. You bought it.
If she manifests in the real world, does the outfit come with her? Is like Rock gonna look up and see like her in a poncho and sombrero and she's go, "Ooh, how was Tijuana, mighty one?"
Yeah.
In my mind, it was like a big sun hat. You know, like one of those really wide floppy brim hats.
It just says poncho and floppy hat. You never know.
Yeah, you're right. Oh man. And the groups kind of just run into each other coincidentally, but it's convenient. There's only one ship that would even agree to take us anywhere, and it's the one that's sailing away at full speed.
It's really disappointing because I really wanted to see him again. He sounded fun.
Right?
He sounded like a nice
He
guy.
was so promising. Yeah.
He kind of reminded me of Rock a little bit in his like just like cheerful kind of way about him. But yep, he's gone. And then it's like, the fused are going to be trouble, like for us to get anywhere. And Cal's like, maybe I could fight him. Just one of them I could probably take. And Sean's like, yeah, but then you'd use up all our Stormlight. That's our money, man.
Why do you got to bring logic into this, Shalon? I wanted to fight.
Still, though, has an idea. No one is listening to her. She tries to tell them her idea. But she says it's a great bad idea.
To be fair, Sill's idea is usually not great.
Yeah.
She's not a planner. Is that what you're trying to say?
Everything she tells Kaladin, we like even as readers, we're like, that's not a good idea. It's like, oh yeah, just hit on Shalon. She's just engaged. No big deal. It's like, Sill, that's not cool.
You're just upset because she's trying to help Kaladin steal Adelin's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Fiance.
Well, not even. Yeah, I was about to say not girlfriend. That's the whole point. It's betrothed.
Mm.
Also, a lot of her ideas are not great. Some of them like have merit, like in the like her. I guess what I'm trying to say is like her intention is good, right? Make Kaladin happy, get Kaladin to say the oaths, but like her actual plans to get there, you're just like, what? No.
Yeah.
So they won't listen to her, so she just takes off. And she goes towards that honor spren ship, and she's like, hey, look over here. And when they look down, it's like, Sylphrina, the ancient daughter? That's me. You better catch me before I scamper away. Wow, I'm feeling capricious today. Might just vanish off.
so stupid.
But it works. The gangway drops, and they come out and grab her. And everybody else also goes onto the boat.
Save my friends and Azure.
And then the ship leaves, and they're safe. They didn't get to stay in town long because they screwed every bit of that up. But we saw the marketplace. The honor spren, it says we end the chapter with like the honor spren just didn't pay much attention to them. They took their harpoons and their gemstones with light in them, but other than that, they're just like, whatever.
Now what?
Yeah, right. So yeah,
I assume they've chivied Adelin's sword spren onto the boat.
I would hope so.
It's like, hey, do you feel like we forgot something? And they look back at the dock and see her standing there, and Adelin's like, oh shit!
My sword!
Sorry, in the physical realm, I wonder what impact that would have. Like if he was too far away from his sword spren,
Oh,
Does that affect his ability to produce a Celebrant?
that's an interesting question. We know
Hmm.
from Aiko on the ship, he said he has to keep his dap locked up, otherwise he would wander off and try to find the guy who's wielding him on the other side. So that makes it sound like you don't have to be in the same vicinity.
Mm.
But I guess, yeah, that's a good question. Like, what effect might it have, if any?
Maybe it's like Thor trying to summon his hammer from like a really long far away, and so he's just standing there with his hand outstretched, and it's like, doesn't normally take this long.
Yeah. Maybe it's like maybe that's why the 10 seconds is a thing, because the spren's like far doesn't necessarily always hang around the person. And
Oh,
so it has to like
Ooh.
travel.
I like that.
interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting idea for sure. Hypocrite, we got our epigraph. Many cultures speak of the so-called death rattles. Tradition ascribes them to the Almighty, but I find too many to be seemingly prophetic. And Hessie says that she thinks this is proof that Moloch persists into the current day. And it's actually easy to see, if you look at where they pop up, the effect is regionalized and tends to move around. This is how the Unmade roving around Roshar. So, I mean, if you can show that, like with a timeline and a map and stuff, that would seem to be pretty indicative.
I mean, that's what Taravantian was doing in Words of Radiance. When we see him in Vedna, he was like having his people track Moloch and Thrill Guy as well, Thrill House.
Thrill House. That's Millhouse's
Nergul.
band.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So we
Hey
cut back
Bart, welcome to Thrill House. I can't do a Millhouse voice.
No, that wasn't terrible.
Hey Bart, all I done is enter my name, Thrill House.
I like that. That was good, Dak.
That was pretty good, yeah. I forgot that. Just random mention while we're on that subject. In the last episode of the other show we did, Mike tried to do an Australian accent, and he was like, "I'm gonna tell Dak he has to listen to this episode just for that."
Oh, he didn't get a chance. Tim messaged me before Mike had a chance, and Mike was like, "Damn it, man!"
Oh, that's amazing. Okay.
Watch
wasn't
out,
great.
radioactive man.
Watch out, radioactive man. The goggles, they do nothing.
Classic.
So Dalinar wakes up, and he doesn't know where he is. It takes him a minute to even remember what the hell was happening before he passed out.
Hey, I've been there, man.
He's remembering it's been 3 days since he came back from Vednar.
It's been
He
1
saw-
week since you looked at me. Sorry.
A haze of frustration, sorrow, agony, and drink. A great deal of drink. And he's like, wait, I've seen this room in one of my visions. Stormfather, why have you sent me a vision? We agreed they were too dangerous. That was after Odium showed up in the last one we visited. And he's like, hey, this is where I met Noadon that one time. And he wanders around a little bit, and he finds Noadon, older now, and sitting at a desk, writing. And Donald's like, oh my god, I'm seeing the Way of Kings be written. And Noadon's like, no, this is a shopping list. I'm cooking shin loaf bread today. Always breaks people's brains. Grain was not meant to be so fluffy.
That moment of him going, "No, this is a shopping list," I fucking laughed out loud. That was very, very well done.
I assume shin loaf bread is just like white bread.
I also like that. Like, I don't know if Dalinar thought Noadon couldn't hear him. He's like, I'm watching him write the Way of Kings, and he just breaks into the reverie. Like, no, it's just a shopping list, bro.
And Noadon's like, hey, it's good to see you. You've been having a hard time lately, huh? And Dalinar's like, oh, you have no idea, man. And he's like, let's go to the market. And Dalinar hasn't been shopping for groceries before. He's like, yeah, I usually have somebody do that for me.
I have servants to shop for me. What even is a grain cost? Like a quarter? What is a quarter?
Groceries, such a
Yeah.
quaint, old-fashioned term.
I have servants who shop for me. Well, you know, I watched Aladdin and it didn't work out so well.
It makes me think of there's an episode of The Office with that British comedian where they're like,
Ricky Gervais?
no, the female one that was on Doctor Who that you're not a big fan of. I don't remember her name.
Oh, yeah, Catherine Tate.
Yeah, so she's talking to one of the characters and she's trying to be relatable, I guess, and he's like, yeah, this food's too fancy. What do you say I go get us some tacos? And she's like, yes, I'd love a taco. How much does 3 tacos cost? Like $20. And he's like, yeah, sure.
I mean, nowadays, yeah, probably.
I mean, Not to go to Taco Bell, bro. It's like,
Oh well, fair point. Yeah,
yeah.
I do like Taco Bell. Sorry,
We don't
that's
have that down here.
so random.
You're not missing that much. The tacos are like the only thing there that I like.
I like several. When they had the caramel apple empanada made a comeback, I was going like all the time to grab one of
Oh,
those. when they were gone
yeah.
again.
Those were delicious.
Anyway, and Noadon leaves the room by like jumping off the balcony when Dalinar asks, "How do we get down?" And Dalinar's like, "Oh man, for an old guy, he's pretty spry." But oh yeah, he's a surge binder. I forgot. And then Dalinar has to jump down also. And it's like that. It's like that scene in Rush Hour where you slide down the banner and get to the ground without dying.
Jesus, when was the last time I watched that movie?
Rush Hour 2? Oh, man, that's a great movie.
No, that was the first Rush Hour.
Oh, was it?
Happened. Yeah,
I thought it was the second one. Either way, both good movies.
both good movies. Rush Hour 3.
Hour 3,
Eh.
Well, you said that in unison.
Yeah, you know, if you want to know what me and Dana think of Rush Hour 3, you just heard it. We both are like,
It's fine.
yeah. I think what really brought it down is Roman Polanski's in it. It's just like, ugh.
Oh, jeez.
That's not helping anything. It's true.
Yeah.
And
Apparently coming out with another one.
yeah, I heard.
Are they? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I'll go see it.
I probably will. Yeah, I didn't see the last Bad Boys, and Bad Boys is one of my favorite.
Really?
Bad
You
Boys
didn't
1
see it?
and 2. I love them both.
I was shocked. I'm shocked you didn't see it.
No, I didn't like 3 much at all, and so when 4 came out, I was just like, eh.
You
I
know,
might
now
watch
that you
it at
say
some
that,
point.
I don't think I've watched 3 or 4.
1 and 2 though, good movies. 2 like half an hour longer than it needs to be, but still good.
Yeah, there's too much. 2 like had too much zany comedy that was like, is this necessary?
For sure, there's a lot of is this necessary? Yeah, you're not wrong. But it's got the whole extra half hour where they go to Cuba, completely unnecessary, but it does result in one of my favorite lines from any movie ever, where after they've just like destroyed this guy's super giant mansion, like $1 million house, and he's chasing them, and they get to the minefield, and they're just like, okay, look, this has been a long day. Why don't we just call it quits? We can all go home. Well, we'll go home. You go to a hotel. I love that line so much.
Yeah, I think my favorite Bad Boys moment is the scene where he and where Martin Lawrence and Tia Leone are arguing about salt and pickles and stuff. That's a good one.
Can't even taste the salt no more. Anyway, sorry. That's a hell of a tangent. Dalinar's like, I can't believe you go shopping by yourself, not even any guards. And he's like, well, I walked all the way to Urathiru on my own. I think I can do this. And Dalinar's like, no, you didn't walk to Urathiru. You walked to an oath gate and then went through. Misconception, he says with an exclamation point. I walked the whole way. I did need help getting through like the caverns below Urathiru, but still. And then we see him argue, like negotiate with a merchant for his grain. And he's just having a good time. He gives the guy way too much money and says to give the rest to charity. And the guy's like, why did we have this whole negotiation? He's like, because it's fun, you know? And we get to, he's like, we finally get to the point where he's like, okay, Dalinar. He doesn't say Dalinar because this is a vision, maybe. But he's like, your life, like that of the woman in that story, is unfair. And Dalinar's like, I keep you taught me that being a ruler is a burden, not a privilege, but I can't see a way out of this. I can't just make all the others do what I think they should do. And they have a discussion about like the costs of principles. If making the right decision suddenly blessed you with prosperity and unending happiness, would you still have your principles? Like if making the right decision was easy, there would be no problem with it. There's no challenge there.
Right. Yeah.
So maybe you shouldn't be looking for life to be easier because you choose to do what's right, is the point. And at some point during the discussion, Dalinar's like, this is different from the other visions. What is going on here? And then he hears a thumping, and he looks up, and there's one of those giant stone creatures with the angular face.
Thunderclast.
Yeah, I don't even have a weapon. What the hell? And I was like, this is quite the nightmare you've created. What does the Thunderclast represent, I wonder? And Dalinar instantly answers, pain, tears, burdens. I'm a lie, Noadon, a hypocrite. And Noadon says, sometimes a hypocrite is nothing more than a man who's in the process of changing. And Dalinar's like, wait, didn't I say that?
Yeah, a wise man once said, hey, that wise man is me. But
Yeah.
this reminds me of like a Big Bang Theory Sheldon like dream where they constantly point out, it's like, well, you're just talking to you right now. You know that, right?
Like Bob Newhart is there, and he's like,
Yeah.
I mean, He's so put upon in those dreams. Even it's always great.
R.I.P.
Oh yeah. But eventually, Dalinar wakes up from this dream or vision or whatever it was, and he's got a mostly empty bottle of wine there, and then he gets a new memory. Not really new, not one he'd completely forgotten, but somehow it suddenly becomes as crisp as if he'd experienced it yesterday, the night of Gavilar's funeral. And that's where we end our chapter. Except for there's an illustration after that that says Navani's notebook, some sort of thing that you're wearing on your arm. I assume maybe it seems to be a clock, so maybe it's the thing that she gave Dalinar. But it's all in women's script, so...
That is a big-ass watch.
It is so big, right? Anyway, move into predicaments. We got some interesting information here. A couple of pretty important things happened that we then spent a lot of time dealing with. But what do you guys think? Where are we going? What's going to happen next? We've got our one crew of people now with the honor spren heading who knows where, and then Dalinar is not in a good place. He spent 3 days drunk apparently already. So, yeah, where do we go from here?
How many chapters?
Oh, right. Sorry. We're doing 4 more chapters for next time, 104 through 107, and the titles are 104 is called Strength, 105 is called Spirit, Mind, and Body, 106 is called Law is Light, and 107 is called The First Step.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure what those chapter titles mean. Law is Light. I mean, that could be Syl talking about oaths, but it could also be Stormfather. Like the first step might be a Dalinar thing of like, the first step of, doing better. I don't know, confusing. So my prediction, I sort of made reference at the start. I think Cultivation's hand might be at work on these memories that Dalinar's getting back. He's getting them back in a specific order at specific times. I feel like Cultivation is, like, her hands are tied on what she can do to combat odium. So kind of like how Preservation set up a long game involving Vin, and then Ruin thought he was setting up the long game, but he got out long gamed by Preservation. Maybe Cultivation's doing the same thing with Dalinar. Like, she's set him up to get his memories back at certain times. Like Kaladin, the picture Kaladin saw, he seems convinced that the Unmade are converging on Dalinar as a result of that painting. So maybe at the crucial moment when the 9 Unmade are preparing to, fuck Kaladin up on behalf of Odium's champion, not fuck Dalinar up on behalf of Odium's champion. Maybe that's when Cultivation reveals like the last couple of memories, and that will give Dalinar the resolve to fight back, or the ability to fight. I don't know, something like that. Kind of nebulous. I'm not really sure. This is just the threads of it, but that's the idea that I had.
Okay, that could definitely prove interesting. I kind of there's something to work with there, and I don't want to go too deep into it actually, but I like this idea.
Okay, I don't know what to make of your response there.
Yeah, it's like his response is like, you're kind of onto something, but I can't say because I don't want to give something away. It almost seems like. So, Dak, you may have made the best predicament of the book so far.
All right, I don't have a baseball bat, but I got a drumstick here. I'll knock something out into the park. Yay!
Yeah, where are we going? Man, I really wish look. I've already said I wish we could have spent more time in Celebrant, whatever. Where are we going with the honor spren? I mean, I feel like if we're going to wherever they hang out, are we going to see the Stormfather? That would be crazy. Also, I feel like the Stormfather, when seeing them, could just be like, hey, although he and Dalinar are apparently on bad terms now, but it might be nice for the Stormfather to be like, hey, your friends are here in Shadesmar, and he'd be like, oh, okay. So maybe that'll happen. Maybe not. Who knows? But yeah, some weird stuff going down. The Fused are scared of the honor spren. That is also very interesting. We didn't talk about that a lot in the chapter, but the Fused sees him is like, I gotta get out of here. So what's that about? How strong are the honor spren? Very good, very interesting stuff. For sure. Don't know where that's going, but let's just say they get to the city, they meet the Stormfather, and then they figure out a way home. That's my predicament for that. The turning point here for Dalinar, there's so many variables here that I'm thinking, right? If I'm right and Taravangian's behind the visions, was he also behind the dream? If it's not Taravangian, if it's cultivation like Dax said, what's with the dream? Also, is the dream actually good? Is it spinning us in a positive way? Or is it odium because we know Odium can look like whoever. Was that Odium in the dream looking like Noadon and trying to send him down a bad path? I guess we'll have to figure out what Dalinar remembers about Gavilar's funeral to kind of know where we sit with all that. But yeah, I'm hoping that this is a turning point for Dalinar, that he kind of figures out a path forward here through remembering Gavilar's funeral and having this dream or whatever, and that it is actually a positive thing and not like an Odium rug pull. So that's kind of my two predicaments so far for what we've read this week. Don't have a lot else to go on, I feel like, but excited to see more.
That's an interesting possibility about, like, what was the dream? That is a fair question, because it is very unclear what exactly that was. But you bring up, it's like it could have been Odium trying to direct him some way. And we talked at the beginning of the episode that, like, we're not sure what the message of that dream was. So whether it was Odium trying to direct him badly, or somebody else trying to direct him well, or a figment of his brain, just a normal sort of dream, the only way to tell might be watch what he takes from it and what he does based on that, and is it good or bad?
Right. Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. It's like, we don't know for sure. Let's see what happens next.
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't know if Dalinar is clear on what the message was of the dream, so even his interpretation might not be, like, Odium could have been trying to direct him badly, but if it was too vague, he could take a positive message from that. Who knows? It's just, yeah, it was so weird and so unlike the other stuff that we've seen. Although I think at the end of the last book, we also saw a vision where he thought was a vision that was not actually, like, he's like, Stormfather, why'd you send me that vision? And Stormfather's like, what? I didn't send a vision. What are you talking about? But it was a very small thing. It wasn't like a whole big storyline like this. It was just a little quick feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the dream is a dream. I don't at this point think anyone's trying to put that in Dalinar's head. Like I said at the beginning of the record, it just seems to have so many things that Dalinar's kind of working through. And yeah, I mean, if Odium were creating this for Dalinar, I thought that line of, these monsters, like, this is the situation you've made for yourself kind of thing, just felt a little bit more like someone who's going through it. It's like you're doing this to yourself. So I think it's Dalinar working through stuff. I think whatever he's sort of worked out in his subconscious has led to this memory of Gavilar's funeral. I think something's going to have happened at Gavilar's funeral that will either trigger his path to the Night Watcher and reveal some information to us that way, or maybe it will reveal information about something else that will hopefully be Dalinar's path back to the Dalinar that we know. I don't think anyone wants to see Dalinar spend too much time or any time, drinking and passing out and everything. That this is the Dalinar that no one wants to see.
Mm.
And it's also like, it's not going to aid the story, really. Do we want to have multiple viewpoints from Dalinar that are him drunk and not really contributing to the story anymore? There's got to be something here that it's working to bring him back into the light, I guess. For him, I do like the idea of Yasna somehow being involved in getting, like, Kaladin and co back. But the idea, I'm not sure who brought it up, whether it was Joe or Dak, but having Stormfather be kind of involved in that too would be really cool. Especially that Stormfather is not super happy with Dalinar right now. So maybe his attention can be elsewhere for a little while Dalinar works his stuff out. Yeah. Other than that, I don't know. We're kind of getting to where everything is happening in rapid succession. We had those multiple changing viewpoints, which everyone knows by now I love, but it's almost like in the story my brain hasn't had time to go, where is this going? Where is this going? I'm just lapping it up at the moment. So I don't think we're going to slow down anytime soon, though.
I mean, we are now, after these chapters, we are at the 77% point through the book. So there's not all that much left. We could be. I don't know if it feels like we're approaching anything like a Sanderlanche. You're right that we're rapidly changing in that one, but it doesn't feel like we could be approaching the climax of the book when, like you pointed out last week, I think we're not sure what the climax, what we're even building towards at this point. So
exactly. I don't think we're quite at Sanderlanche, but definitely things starting to. I feel like I'm on the lookout for things to start to make sense. You know, when you're like, oh, there's that tiny little bit of information that, got revealed 1,000 pages ago. Maybe that slots in here. Maybe I should recall that information. I feel like we're at that point of the story now.
Okay, so where things start falling into place as we're okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, that's what I would like, but maybe it won't.
Yeah, we don't know. You're right. I also like you pointed out. It's like nobody really wants to have a bunch of chapters of Dalinar just being drunk and ineffective, which I hadn't thought about it quite that way. But yeah, from a storytelling perspective, that would not be fun. As to read a story about is one of our major characters who we look up to just being drunk and useless for 100 pages. Like, yeah, nobody wants that.
No, as a reader, no one wants that. That's not helpful. But also for Dalinar, no one wants that for Dalinar. I don't want to sound like a complete a-hole, being like, nah, just go have your moment elsewhere off page or something. Like that's not what I'm saying. But it's now would be a terrible time in the book for Dalinar's storyline to stall, I think. So I'm hoping it's a temporary setback.
Yeah. That makes it. I agree with this. It would be better if it was a temporary setback, for sure.
Yeah.
If we go through the end of this book and he's still like, everything, I'm just going to drink to forget, that would not feel great.
No, everything would not be awesome.
I do think we will get a wrap on Dalinar's backstory, flashbacks, memories in this book. I do think it has to resolve in this book.
They tend to. I mean, we got some random Kaladin flashbacks this time, but outside of that, they tend to resolve within the book that you have them. So yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. And we'll probably get, what happens with the Night Watcher at the very end of the book.
You think so? Okay.
Probably.
Well, we know next up is
Gavilar's chapter, isn't it? So. Yeah.
But okay, yeah, no, that would make sense. We've talked about before that it feels like the last big hurdle that we have in us not knowing what happened in Dalinar's past is that Night Watcher bit. So if that was how things ended, that would make sense.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we're running about where we normally are. Let's do a couple emails and then we will wrap up. The first email here is from Heather, and Heather says, almost caught up. Hello again. I had to write in again, despite not being caught up. I have one non-Sanderson comment to make, and then two. First off, you made a comment in one of the Oathbringer episodes about not being sure if Arnold was a good governor. As someone who grew up in Northern California, above the capital city, Sacramento, I would have to say that the Governator was the best we've ever had, because he actually gave a crap about all California. It was nice having someone care about the people that live where most of the agriculture and water in the state come from. Just saying. I have no idea, not knowing California politics, Heather, I have no idea how controversial a statement that just was, or maybe everyone agrees with that, but it's good to hear from somebody who has a first-hand opinion on that. Thank you.
I mean, I like Arnold, so it's nice to hear good things about him.
Yeah, right. Next, I think Pattern is the best spren, partly because of the way the voice actor plays him. But I'm going to pause there. Jamie, on any of the audiobook things, did you listen? Have you heard Pattern? Does he sound cool?
Yeah, Pattern's cool. Pattern's fun.
What would be the closest voice you would describe him as having?
It's very buzzy. It's like shalom.
Nice. Well done.
Thank you. There's my voice contribution to the podcast.
Great. Now I'm just imagining Patton is droopy or something. He's like, "Go here, Shalad."
Buzzy.
Again.
I feel like not the voice, but the tone is almost there. It's yeah,
Oh, man.
I don't know. I'll have to play it for you, Dak, and then you can replicate it properly.
Okay. You
trying to think
dear,
if-
no meeting.
I'm trying to think of who I've heard, like a cartoon voice or something that had a buzzy sound to it. And I'm like, was there a bee that maybe I could think of? But I really can't.
The only thing I can think of is when Billy West plays that weird like Leela and Amy go on a date, and there's that weird like light thing that
Oh,
he's trying to
yeah.
get a date with Leela.
And Bender's using his gaydar on it.
Yep. That is exactly. Oh my gosh. Okay, now I'm gonna have to go and watch that episode. It's been a while.
Can you do the voice and I can tell you if it's close?
Oh
Oof.
man, like
No, that's like a Billy West like voice manipulation thing that I'm not capable of.
no, that's
okay.
one of those ones like because he goes really high pitched, and they all thought, "Wow, is he using technology to alter this?" And it's like, no, that was actually just his voice going that high, and everyone's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
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 Okay.
I gotta go try to find which episode this was now. It wasn't the one where they're butterflies. I don't know why that comes up when I
I think
Google.
it's first season. I think it's the one
Yeah, it's like an early
where
Is that Brannigan season?
I think it's first season. I think it's the one where Leela meets the Cyclops guy that's pretending to be her
Yeah,
race or whatever.
yeah, that makes sense. No, the
That might be
the-
second
the-
season, but
the main line I remember from that is like, they're talking about, oh, what's a good place to meet people? And like Hermes says something, Bender goes, a saucy puppet show, and Zoidberg goes, a rotting carcass of a whale.
oh Zoidberg.
Okay, I'm gonna find this. We're gonna have to pause for a second because I am going to find this. Oh, it was. I think it's the one where she meets Zap Brannigan. It's Love's Labor's Lost in Space.
Yeah, that's
so
the first
that
one
is-
with Zap Brannigan.
So that's
Because-
the first. That is first season, but it's not the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, I found a clip, not of that scene from it, but where Fry and Bender are outside that club that they were at, and he's got the girl that he's met, who was also time lost or whatever.
It's like or you meet a guy with two guys, or meet a nice guy with two guys and poke one out. That's a great classic line.
Oh man. Okay. I'm not gonna go too deep into this. I wanted to find the clip of
You
that
guys
date,
know.
but we have to get-
Look, if you're a listener and you've been with us for a while, you know by now we're big Futurama fans.
Oh yeah.
It's true. Yep. All right. Anyway, I can look into that later. Let's continue with the email. I keep clicking the tab that just says a saucy puppet show. That's not where the email is.
Click the Saucy Puppet Show tab.
I listened to the audiobook and burst up laughing while putting away laundry because she made him sound very emphatic and scolding, like a period piece governess, when he declared no mating. It reminded me of the lady robot in Spaceballs and her virgin alert.
That I did hear that one in the audiobook because I flipped between reading and listening, and that was very entertaining. I'll see if I can find a clip in the audiobook.
I think we all want to hear this now.
But like also, okay, interesting. She says, sort of a buzzy voice, and then goes for Joan Rivers in Spaceballs. Not where I would have gone, but I can see it working.
No Spaceballs.
I think she was talking about the tone because she said it was like his tone in that moment is, she said, like a period piece governess. So
Yeah, okay.
That makes sense.
Lastly, I think Dalinar's flashbacks are supposed to make us understand how the majority of the High Princes at the start of the book would think he's gone crazy, and how the majority of other leaders on Roshar would be very mistrusting of him. They all remember the Blackthorn. Why wouldn't they think this new calculating king of Urithiru, in parentheses, I have no idea how to spell it, which she didn't know how to spell it, just FYI, is secretly plotting something or has several screws loose. Anyway, keep up the good work, and hopefully I'll be caught up before the end of the year. From Heather. Oh, one more thing. I like the Sill sign-off better than the crab ones. Me too, Heather.
Come on. They're crabs. Everybody's a crab.
Oh, the crabs are fun, but I came up with, like, one of you guys said the haha I'm Sill thing, and then I liked it so much that I stuck it in there. So clearly I like that one, but...
Yeah. Well, I think the crab one is funny because it's like it's not a thing in the books. Like it's something that we're picking up on as being like, this whole place is full of crabs. But nobody in the book ever says like, man, there's a lot of crab things here.
It's true.
Yeah.
So thank you, Heather. That was awesome. We can do at least one more here. This one's pretty short. This one is from Breeze. And I'll skip to the sign off. It's signed Breeze. Yes, that's my actual nickname. Has been since I was a baby. You can guess who my favorite Mistborn character is. So that's funny.
Nice.
The title of this email is a commentary on national sports. Hello, I love how far you're getting into Oathbringer. You guys make an otherwise dreary Monday better. I'm a high school teacher, so it's refreshing to come home after working with teenagers all day and be able to escape back into my favorite series.
I thought you were about to say he said thanks for making a dreary book better. I was like, whoa, coming out swinging.
That would be a heavy take right off the bat there, for sure.
Yeah.
Just wanted to add a fun fact to Dak's commentary on rugby and national pride. An oft-quoted sports trivia fact for Canadian hockey team fans is that it was the UK and not any other hockey powerhouse who ruined our streak of Olympic gold medals in 1936. While we salvaged our pride after World War II, we then went 50 years from 1952 to 2002 without winning gold in the only sport that we're good at. I'm stoked beyond belief for you to finish Oathbringer. It's freaking awesome. Cheers from Breeze. So I guess a
Nice.
Canadian clearly is Breeze, and I'm sorry about your hockey woes for 50 years.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Look, my hockey team has gotten close to the Stanley Cup many times and has never won in franchise history. So I understand. I get it.
In like the last 5 to 10 years, ice hockey, it seems like it's really taken off in our city specifically. Like I feel like a lot more people are into ice hockey now than they used to be down here, which is strange to me because we don't really get ice. Yeah.
We don't get a lot of ice here either, but I know some people who are very much into Dallas Stars hockey.
Yeah, that's my team. It's good. Good stuff. Yeah, I think honestly, with things just being viral on the internet in the last few years, like more people around the world are seeing sports that maybe they're not used to seeing and being like, oh, I get why people like this. This is cool.
So what you're saying is you're waiting for the curling renaissance.
That actually
Hey.
kind of happened when the
Curling's
U.S.
great.
at least here when the U.S. won the gold. That kind of happened.
Oh my god. Okay.
I didn't know we'd ever won the gold. I don't pay any attention to the Olympics, so
Yeah, we won.
good to know.
The men's team won the gold, I think, 2 Olympics ago. And everybody, like the internet was kind of going wild over it because, a lot of people don't know what curling is, didn't know what curling was at the time. And it's like, these guys are Olympians, but they all look like, 40-year-old dads because of the type of sport that curling is. And so I think it was kind of like an internet phenomenon for a little bit there.
It's a
That's great.
janitorial sport.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Let's see. This one's also short. We'll do one more and then we'll wrap up. This one is from. Let's see. I guess I'm just going to use the name on the thing. This one is from Finn. It's titled Kia Ora. Hey, Sanderlanche crew. First time writing to you guys. Just a short one. Just wanted to let you know.
Before we get there, I need to correct. I know this one. That's New Zealand greeting. That's Kia ora, not Kia Ora.
Oh, okay. I was like, is this about a car?
Nope, no.
Some sort of Kia vehicle? Okay. Kia ora.
Respect for New Zealand. Don't kill us in rugby.
Just wanted to let you guys know, on behalf of New Zealand, that no matter how badly you botch our accent, it's almost impossible to offend us as long as our existence is acknowledged. With that being said, Dak's Korg accent isn't half bad. As hilarious as it would be if we all sounded like that, a good rule of thumb is just swap out most of the I's with U's, which I'm now going to see if I can do. Anyways,
Yeah.
I'm a big
Yeah,
fan. Easily
that's what
the most entertaining.
So yeah, that's what we all learn as kids. You want to speak New Zealand? Say fush and chups.
Fush and chups.
Fush and chups. Interesting.
Yep.
Just don't say it in a bland American accent. Got it. Fush and chups. Nope, doesn't sound like New Zealand. Sorry.
Easily the most entertaining Sanderson podcast, in my opinion. I don't think I'm doing a good job of that. I'm trying to replace the I's with U's.
It sounds like you're saying onion.
It does, yeah. You always make me laugh. I'm studying for my law exams at the moment, so find myself, to my guilt, delaying studying by always walking the long way to listen to you guys each new episode. That's about all. Just confirming that you've got at least one big New Zealand fan. Keep it chur. There's a lot of R's in that word.
Keep it sure. What does that mean, Dak? I don't know.
That one is beyond me.
Fair. Okay. Well, thank you guys for the emails. If anyone would like to send us an email, the address is thesanderlanche@gmail.com. Find us on Instagram and Blue Sky and Facebook and Patreon, where I am, as of the recording of this episode, one episode away from finishing I almost said Words of Radiance. Wind and Truth. So by the time this episode comes out, the final episode of Wind and Truth, of my first time reading Wind and Truth, will be up on the Patreon. And the next one will be the beginning of Isles of the Emberdark. So I'm excited to get into that. I feel like I hit some firsthand stuff. You guys were talking last week about how it's kind of tricky to make predictions in Stormlight. There's just so much. And in my editing, as I'm approaching, especially the end of that book of Stormlight, I'm just like, I feel like there's less that I'm reacting to. And then I went into Isles of the Emberdark, and I was just like, a lot more reaction and a lot less just kind of summarizing what's happening as I'm reading along. And so I was like, man, maybe it is just harder with Stormlight, because I feel like I got much more room to play in Isles of the Emberdark and as I'm going along. So I maybe feeling a little bit of what you guys are.
Yeah. Makes sense. I mean, you got Stormlight has a lot. Also, you're in the last book of that arc. It's like Stormlight, you already had a lot of information going into that book. Whereas Isles of the Emberdark, you probably had less. But hey, if you guys want to be jumped into the Misting crew, leave us a 5-star review, email it to Data, and you too can be a Misting.
Yeah. Or join our Patreon, and Joel will assign you a faring power. So 2 great powers that taste great together. No, wait, that doesn't work.
Yeah. No, that doesn't work.
But anyway, so that's the stuff we've got going on. Check that out if you're interested. But thank you to all of our patrons. Our Discord users, if you want to join the Discord, there's a link at our website, www.thesanderlanch.com. Check, go there. Thank you to all those folks. Thank you to everyone who shows up every week and listens to us go through this stuff. It is so much fun for me. And hopefully for the other people on the show. Remember, we're doing 4 more chapters for next time, 104 through 107. So if you're reading along, those are the chapters to read. We are approaching, we're almost to the last 20% of the book, but we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 episodes left after this one. So we're making our way down to the end of this book, and there will be some intense stuff coming up. So stay tuned for as we progress. Nowhere to go but into Sanderlanch territory before too very long. So 4 chapters for next time if you're following along. Music by Miracle of Sound, and Wuzzing to the Time of Next. Colo, P.S. Vasher. Haha, I'm still.
Supernovas die, fractured in the fateful fall of man. Feel the heart raging of a strength unseen. Unity will bring the upper hand. So look to the break of dawn.